Good evening, guys. Bill McMillan here with NDWX.com. Wanted to do a special video update for the significant winter storm that's going to impact the southern Appalachian region as we go into late tonight and really continue into late Saturday night. There may be a bit of a lull in the precipitation tomorrow afternoon as the storm begins to transfer its energy out of the lower Tennessee Valley off the Carolina coast and then begin to move northeast. But for the most part, between late tonight and through late Saturday night, we're going to be locked into some very heavy wintry precipitation across the southern Appalachians, in particular Johnson County, and wanted to really focus in on the impacts really of all of Johnson County with this particular update. So we'll get into things here. We're taking a look at the latest satellite this evening, and it shows our storm system really developing and intensifying in rather rapid fashion here this evening. This is going to be responsible for a severe weather outbreak across the lower Gulf Coast states later on tonight as well, potentially even with some tornadoes across the coastal areas of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So that's going to be something else to keep an eye on. But for the most part, we think any severe threat will remain limited through central Mississippi and then southwestern portions of Alabama and the Panhandle. But as we begin to put things into motion, we'll take a look at the broad scale perspective here off of the GFS forecast model, off of the 18Z run. We'll put this into motion, and you'll notice that the surface low move through north central Alabama and into north Georgia before beginning to transfer its energy off the Carolina coast. And then this is going to be the primary low that will move north and northeast as we go through the course in time Friday into Saturday. All the while, we deal with widespread wintry precipitation across all of East Tennessee for that matter, but really for the mountains, we think it's mostly a snow event. The one hesitation that I still have is dealing with potentially some sleet that may mix in tomorrow for a while, and that's going to limit snowfall accumulations from even heavier than what they could be. As it is, we forecast 8 to 13 inches of snow for Mountain City. That will increase to 13 to 18 inches for Trade and Stone Mountain. And then as we go over into Boone and Blowing Rock, we think somewhere between 18 and 25 inches is a good bet with this storm system. So as you can tell by those numbers, this isn't a storm that comes along very often. As a matter of fact, when we look back at analogs that we use to try and get some sort of estimate as to what we can expect with this particular storm system, and comparing it to storms of the past, it really reminds us of 1996, the blizzard of 96, that really impacted the southern Appalachians and the central Appalachians in a significant way, as you may remember. I don't think we're looking at as heavy of snow totals with this particular storm in Mountain City and Johnson County for that matter, but all in all, it's going to be a very, very significant event. So as we take a look at some of the latest high-resolution forecast model data, we'll put this into motion. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit for you before we begin to do that. And we'll notice that precipitation will begin to overspread southern and eastern Tennessee just before midnight, before it continues to progress east-northeast overnight, and snow will begin to develop and fall quite heavily, we think, during the pre-dawn hours on Friday for Mountain City and Johnson County in particular. That will continue in a pretty heavy snowfall rate as we go into the mid-morning hours before we get into a bit of a lull in the precipitation, we think. Sorry for the change in the overall view here. We're going to a different forecast model to begin to extend this into Friday afternoon, Friday evening for you. Notice, though, as we get into Friday evening, Friday afternoon, we're going to see a bit of a lull, we think, develop. That's going to be a component of some downsloping that's going to take effect as the storm begins to transfer its energy from the northeastern Tennessee Valley area off to the Carolina coast, as we mentioned beforehand. This is not going to last very long, but don't be surprised if we see a lull in the activity tomorrow afternoon, and that will potentially provide false hope that the storm is over with for some, but we caution that it certainly is not. Moisture will begin to wrap around in significant fashion, we think, tomorrow evening and continue for the better part of Saturday. We'll go back to the GFS, and this is going to show that quite nicely, we think, here. Saturday we'll have a lot of wraparound upslope generated snow showers and embedded heavier snow squalls, we think, from time to time. And it's really not until we get into early Sunday morning that all of the snow will begin to exit to the northeast. By the time all is said and done, again, we forecast, and we'll pull up the National Weather Service forecast because for the most part we agree with this. We forecast 8 to 13 inches of snow again for Mountain City. Some of that may be compacted a little bit by sleet that may mix in Friday morning. We go through a bit of a lull Friday afternoon, and then the wraparound upslope snows continue to really grow in intensity tomorrow evening. That will carry us into most of Saturday into Saturday night. Those 8 to 13 inches of snow in Mountain City will begin to increase again to 13 to 18 inches for Trade and Stone Mountain and a lot of the upslope areas across eastern portions of Johnson County, 18 to 25 inches again for Boone to Blowing Rock. So we will see, maybe about doing another video update here later tomorrow for you. Before we close things out, this is just a look at some of the expected snowfall accumulations off of the GFS forecast model. Again, take this with a grain of salt. The higher resolution models, I think, are the better way to go when we look at accumulations at this particular time frame. But all in all, you can see it's a big impact event, really, for all of the Tri-Cities even as well. By the way, we think probably 4 to 8 inches of snow is a good bet for Johnson City and around the Tri-Cities in general. Guys, that will do it for the evening update here for this storm system. Hope you have a great night. Hopefully at this point you're hunkered down and ready to enjoy the snow. We'll talk with you soon.